Okay, on the record, in the matters of the people of the state of Michigan versus Malik Leon Shireen Blocker, file numbers 24-00655 FY and 24-01407 FY. Council appearance.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Adam Pfeiffer on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson on behalf of Malik Blocker, who's present by way of video conferencing from the Ingham County Jail.
Okay, today was the date set to hold a probable cause conference, which we did hold and reset these matters for exam. I'm getting some feedback from somewhere. Okay, which we did hold and set these matters for a preliminary examination and PA 53 hearing on one file for August 9th at 9 o'clock in the morning. The court subsequently received a notification from Mr. Pfeiffer that you needed to make an emergency motion.
Yes, Your Honor. The people are requesting that this court immediately today revoke the defendant's phone, e-message, and video visits privileges from the jail because the defendant has continued to try and contact the victim directly, as well as instruct his family members to contact the victim directly in attempts to prevent the victim from coming to court or intimidate her into trying to get this case dismissed. This is not the first time I've dealt with this with Mr. Blocker. I had him back in 2021, where he did the same thing with the same victim. I had been reached out then by Eaton County because they had concerns. He was doing the same thing in their jurisdiction. Now, the intention was that I would take on the cases when they reached the circuit court because I'm scheduled to be in trial next week when the examination was initially scheduled for, and didn't want to have me come for the PCC and a different attorney for the exam. But I have been with the victim in my office for several hours this morning as she showed me the messages that she has gotten from his family members. I was able to confirm the calls that he was making to her godmother, and to his family members, instructing them to contact the victim. As a result, Your Honor, I don't believe that this can wait until the rescheduled date, and I think it's August, because that is simply too much time for the defendant to continue to do what he's been doing. And as a result, per my motion, the attachments that I filed with the voicemails that he's been leaving and the calls that he's been making, only a small snippet of what he's been doing, I'm asking this court to revoke those privileges pending that hearing in August.
Mr. Feigelson.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. I've had a chance to review Mr. Pfeiffer's motion as well as listen to some of the calls that have been provided. I don't think I've seen everything yet, but I've seen a handful of the calls, Your Honor. One thing I'd ask is if we're going to restrict his phone, I'd ask that the restriction be only placed on the alleged victim. I think he should still be allowed to be able to speak with his family if necessary, Your Honor. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the allegations are not just that he has been making phone calls to the alleged victim, but there's allegations that he has instructed other people in his family, including to call her and I believe her godmother. And so there were several attachments provided with the motion, one being a 14-minute phone call, the other two also phone calls that were attached in support of the motion. The court will grant the request of the prosecution to restrict the defendant's jail privileges pending a hearing on these allegations. There's also a call log that's been attached here. And so, let's see here. The court will revoke the defendant's phone, e-message, and video visit privileges with all individuals pending a hearing, with the exception, of course, he can meet with an attorney. But other than that, everything else will be revoked.
Thank you, Your Honor.
going to remind Mr. Blocker of his bond conditions and a no contact order. And the no contact order is in place even while you're in custody of the jail. So you're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the Kiana Walker Rich. You're not to cause anyone else to have contact with Kiana Walker Rich. If you have not heard by now, we do have prosecutors in Ingham County that do take the time to review phone calls while you're in the custody of the jail to see if there are violations. Those violations not only can amount to a contempt of court order, but, and as you can see, can cause your privileges while in jail to be revoked, but they also can amount to new charges being filed against you from the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office. And in one file, sir, you're already being charged with 4 counts. One is an unlawful imprisonment felony, 15 years and or $20,000, and a sex offender registration notice. There's a count 2 of assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder or strangulation, felony, 10 years or $5,000. Aggravated domestic assault, misdemeanor, 1 year or $1,000, but there's a second offense notice enhancing that domestic violence to a felony of 5 years or $5,000. Assault with a dangerous weapon, felony, 4 years and or $2,000. Habitual offender, 4th offense notice, making there a mandatory 25-year sentence. So you're facing some very extensive charges in that file number 24-01407. There are 8 counts in this file. Count 1, home invasion, 1st degree, felony, 20 years, $5,000. Count 2, unlawful imprisonment. Again, a second offense, a 15-year offense, $20,000, also a punishment, but there's a Sex Offender Registration Act notice attached. Stalking aggravated, felony, 5 years and or $10,000. And assault with intent with a dangerous weapon, a felonious assault, a felony, 4 years or $2,000. And then there's 3 felony firearms and a domestic violence in that file. You were remanded on this file with no bond, and in the other file, your bond was $75,000 cash surety. And the reason why you were likely remanded with no bond on the newer file is because the other file was already pending and there was a bond that should have been in place at that time. Nonetheless, you have some very serious crimes pending, a lot of counts. It's not worth you risking it to try to make phone calls or communications that are not sanctioned while you're on bond or under the court supervision. And so your privileges will be revoked pending any hearing. You do have a right to have a hearing on these allegations that you have violated your bond conditions. If you are found to have been in violation of your bonds, you are facing 93 days Ingham County Jail per violation, plus and or a fine of $7,500 can be imposed. Do you understand that?
He's muted at the moment.
Okay, you're muted. Can you nod your head if you understand that? Okay, the record will reflect that he's nodding his head via Polycom. The court will enter a plea of not guilty as to the violation, alleging that he has made unauthorized communication. And those are PA 53 violations that will be attached to both files. Any additional matters today before we adjourn on these files until August?
Not on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Judges, so there gonna be a PA 53 hearing on both matters on the 9th of August, is that correct, Your Honor?
That's correct.
All right, very well, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're all set, Mr. Blocker.
Thank you, Your Honor, for hearing the people on short notice today. It is appreciated.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. Take care.
Take care.
Have a good one.